Stand by. You're up.
All right, welcome to the show, World Soccer Radio, on the world-famous Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Nick Geber, Danny Page with you. And I tell you, Danny, what a Tuesday it's been.
Yeah, what a treat. If the action during the weekend was a little bit dry and boring, we've surely made up with it. Some remarkable games today in the Barclays Premier League in England, and we will talk about them. The Merseyside Massacre, if you will. Liverpool 4, Everton 0. What a result, man.
Well done, Danny. You wrote your own headline for this one. Merseyside Mersey, Merseyside Mercy. I don't know. Have another drink, Nick. Okay, I will. Also, let's talk about United. Are they back? Nice early performance. Let's talk about the Man United performance as they beat Cardiff at home 2-0. Arsenal slip on that banana skin that we've been talking about. And Crystal Palace, well, they get a big win, Danny.
Yeah, they really did. And now the question is, will the club invest further in players over these next few days? They're up all the way to 14th in the table. Still, just 6 points separate 10th and 20th.
And you know what? They could well be vying for a Champions League spot. How about that? All right, just kidding.
Pipe down on that one.
All right,
but
so
it's a big win any way you slice it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, we're going to talk about, we'll be taking a look at tomorrow's Premier League action, and we will be joined by Fox Sports' very own Statman Mosse. David Mosse will be joining us. The Statman will be right here on the show for you, breaking down both what happened today and what he thinks will happen tomorrow. Big hello to our men and women in uniform listening around the world on American Forces Radio. An absolute privilege and a pleasure to speak with you as we do each and every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you're listening on one of the affiliate stations of the Sports Byline Network, we are thrilled, as always, to be with you, whether it's iHeartRadio also, or TuneIn.com, or Watch WSR, or World Soccer Talk, or YouTube. We are everywhere at one time. Isn't that right, Danny?
Yes, absolutely. We are everywhere. Even if we can't physically move as quickly as we might like, we're there virtually.
That's right. And we are America's only nationally syndicated, regularly scheduled Monday through Friday radio show talking about the beautiful game. So you want to make sure to make us a regular part of your week. Let us bring you home from work or settle you into your nice fuzzy shoes and your drink at night. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to kick it all off here on World Soccer Radio. Let's get the phones lit, folks. 800-878-PLAY. Where are you? What do you think happened today? How did your team fare? Twitter at World Soccer Radio. Give it a thought. We'll be right back after this. All right, bad to the bone, that is us. World Soccer Radio's Sports Byline USA, Nick Geber and Danny Page with you each and every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you don't know it by now, you'll probably never know it because we say it so many times. But, that's what we're paid to do, right? Danny, that's why we make the big bucks.
Yes, the big bucks, Nick. And obviously the State of the Union address just getting going. That's on my DVR. And instead, let's talk some soccer, man.
Hey, do it. Let's do it, man. Let's talk about Manchester United.
Okay, the Red Devils, man.
All right, so Man United at home to, shall we say, struggling Cardiff City Football Club.
Yeah. Basement, bottom dwellers, championship side.
Now, Danny,
is what they look like.
I watched this game, and it was great to see from a Man United perspective, not from a perspective of anybody else out there, normal people who are crushed to see Robin Van Persie take the field again. But if you are a Man United supporter, you have to be. You had to have been buoyed, your spirits propped up by seeing the Dutchman, the horsey face out there himself, looking around saying, hey, look at this new guy out here, Juan Mata. He's making things much more creative out here for me.
Yeah.
Look, I think early on they looked really good. They sort of flattened out later. That's to be expected. They got a brand new signing. And also, Van Persie's coming back. But Danny, let me tell you the problems they have even with those two guys.
Well, hold on. Before you say the problems, Mata was really influential today, Nick.
Huge.
He started the first goal. He had an assist on the second goal. And you, of all people, I know you're a big Liverpool guy, you need to give them some credit for what they got done today. They got a key home result. 3 points are all that matters. They kept pace with Liverpool. Let's give them a little credit before we look at what they're missing.
You're missing the point with me. I'm actually giving them a lot of credit. And you saw that tweet I put out earlier in the game. When the game started, I said, United are back. And I said, it makes me feel a little less guilty about, talking about the problems that United are having. Seeing Van Persie back is kind of like, beating a wounded animal makes you a bad guy. At least United are back. They will be back. They will be back strong. But they have some tactical issues they have to deal with Mata and Van Persie out there. They can't leave so much space in the midfield. That's never been a Man United problem, but it is a Man United problem under David Moyes, and I'm sure he will correct it, by the way. I don't think this is going to be a problem going on for very long, because if I can see it sitting thousands of miles away watching the game, you don't think David Moyes can see it too?
Well, I like the fact that Moyes gave Mata a run out in his opening game, especially, right from the get-go. I don't understand what this team has to do at this point. They got to win. They got a result at home, especially if they go win at Stoke City at the weekend.
That'll be a tough game,
I'll be mightily impressed.
Absolutely.
As the way they, get started here. They have Arsenal coming up in about 2 weeks' time, I think it is. Almost exactly 2 weeks' time. So they have an opportunity to really join the race for fourth here, especially when Liverpool put out poor results like they did today. 2 weekends ago, home to Villa. I know. Liverpool have gotten the results against top teams we'd like to see them get, but I'm not worried about games like today as much as I am about games against Villa and Hull in which they've dropped points. So.
Well, Liverpool have won 6.
Weren't they brilliant today?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Liverpool in a minute, but I do want to get back to United. I'm a United hater. No, everyone knows that, but you know what? Credit's where credit's due. Juan Mata gives them that really exciting, creative edge that they've been missing. They need more of this, not less. I still think there are inherent problems in this team. I think there's some systemic failures in this team in terms of the squad. David Moyes has gone on records now saying they better shape up or he'll get players that are better in the squad. I think David Moyes has got this horse under control now, and it's just a matter of time.
Well, I think maybe you missed something there. You said Mata gave them a sharp, creative edge.
Yeah.
Mata is sharp and creative, but I'm not sure the edge is there.
Maybe not.
I'm not sure the truly great central midfielder is going to be playing behind him. I've been obviously outspoken all year long
Ryan Giggs?
in my criticism of Michael Carrick.
Yeah.
I think Johan Cabaye would have been the ideal player to work as a stopgap for a couple seasons at least. So I think there's more missing in midfield. I think we knew that. But Juan Mata helped put United's talented wing players into the proper positions today.
And people didn't think he would do that, Danny. The rub was that Mata was going to make the team play a lot more narrow, and in fact, that didn't happen. But what
a brilliant ball to initiate the opener.
But you are actually correct. The one player United need is
Actually.
a creative central midfielder that's not Juan Mata. I think they're still looking for one. There is one out there somewhere. I just don't know where it is. And he's not going to be coming in the January window. You know,
No.
they're going to have to make do largely with what they have. Looks like Rooney's going to re-sign. I think that's great for the United faithful. And, you know, bring old Wayne back. And with Mata, Rooney, and Van Persie, you can't look at that and not say, ooh, just like you look at Coutinho, Sturridge, and Suarez and say, ooh, it's the same sort of attacking prowess up front. I actually think Liverpool are better in the midfield, though, than United are.
Without Lucas Leiva, I think that's a question. Hey, you never know with United. They might have a late bid for Andres Herrera from Athletic Bilbao.
Even better, they could get Andres Cantor from Football de Primera on. They might have to get some Triple X jerseys, but I have one I can lend them.
What can this team do from here? Do you for some reason don't think they can challenge for fourth? I think you're
no, they're going to challenge
just
for
kind
fourth.
of scared.
No, they're going to challenge for fourth. They're not going to get it though.
They're not going to get it. Tottenham is in your mind.
Well, I don't know. After today, I might be reevaluating, and I don't want to be a pendulum swinging with each different match week. I want to try. I still think Tottenham look really, really good under Tim Sherwood, because I was worried about Tottenham coming into this season with the 110 million pounds worth of new signings they made. Right. Some of them haven't panned out. Many of them have. And Tim Sherwood is the guy to bring that out. But we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow when Tottenham do play, because they did not play today. Let's move along, though, and talk about a result, Danny, that you predicted, which was Arsenal drawing in their match. And we're going to skip right past Norwich Newcastle, but that's all right, 0-0. At St. Mary's. By the way, I love Southampton, Danny. This team, for me, is the bright, shining spark in the Premier League this year. I love to watch them. English players, they did the business today, or at least Adam Lallana did, to make it 2-2. Arsenal slip up big time, and they get Flamini sent off, and now he's going to be gone for 3 matches.
Yeah, that's a big loss, and Wenger, again, took this attitude that they didn't really need anything more in January, and it looks like it's shaping up to be a stupid decision, especially now that we see that Aaron Ramsey might be out 4 to 6 weeks. You know, a good tweet coming in here from DMAC, who communicates with us. You can find us on Twitter at worldsocceradio. That's at worldsocceradio. And DMAC is going along the lines of what I've been saying for a couple weeks now, and I've been proven wrong the last couple weeks. He says, Arsenal left the door wide open for Manchester City Football Club to leapfrog them and never look back, assuming they don't blow it on the road at Spurs. I've predicted for a couple weeks now that there would be a moment that Arsenal relinquished their spot at the top of the table and never got it back. This could be that moment. Well, this really could.
The problem is, Danny, the problem is that Arsenal, next week you got City, Chelsea playing. I predict that's going to be a draw. I think Arsenal will go back to the top of the table next week, but let's wait and see.
Yeah, at the very least, this Arsenal group, without any new signings, will be out of the title race come April 1st. Well, they're gone.
Right. Well, let's play a game, Danny, shall we?
What's that?
Too bad. Do we have a drum roll there in Sports Byline? Because I don't have one here.
Something like that.
Okay, let's do it. Danny, let's play a game, and let's not play thermonuclear war, if you're a fan of war games.
Again, State of the Union is on right now.
Right. Let's play word association football, Danny.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so you talk about Wenger and Mourinho. I'm going to put out names of managers. You give me the first word that comes into your mind.
Okay.
Ready? And by the way, I'd love to hear from our listeners on this. So tweet us.
World Soccer Radio.
At World Soccer Radio. Let's start with Mourinho.
Confident.
Fair enough. Moyes.
Bewildered.
Good. Wenger.
Stubborn.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that. Let's see. Pellegrino.
Wrong name. It's Pellegrini.
I know. Pellegrino.
San Pellegrino.
It's Pellegrino. I drink a bottle of that every day.
Suave. His football is sleek and stylish.
Nice.
He's sort of romanced the media.
All right, well, Danny, you know what? We have to go to break, so...
Boy, that was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, well, we'll pick that up. We'll ask that to Mosse when we come back. All right, World Soccer Radio. We'll be right back with David Mosse. Don't go anywhere. It just gets even more entertaining than it has been up to this point, because we love our show. All right, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA, Nick and Danny. We will... right now. All right. Welcome back to the show. You don't know what that is, Danny.
Not a clue.
That's a band that was never once nominated for a Grammy.
Who's that?
That's the Sex Pistols.
All right. That was going to be my first guess.
Yeah, all right. Welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio Sports Byline USA. Nick and Danny with you.
Yeah.
We're talking about today's matches, and coming up in the next segment, if you stay with us here, because we know you're going to, we will be looking at tomorrow's matches, but we do have to complete the discussion of today. Let's bring in our very special guest from Fox Soccer, the man behind the scenes, the man responsible for the incredible in-depth analysis that goes on at Fox Sports and Fox Soccer, Mr. David Mosse. Statman, welcome.
Gentlemen, both of you together again. This is quite the treat.
Well, indeed, David.
Together again. Isn't that a song or something?
Something
I think it's
like
from
that.
one of the Muppet movies.
Yeah.
Which I know quite well.
I'm sure you do. By the way, speaking of Muppet movies, let's throw out a big hello to my friend Kirk Thatcher. Okay, let's move right along. Danny, let's talk about the Merseyside derby.
Yep.
I'm not sure, Danny and David, that anybody out there was really ever questioning the Swarridge connection, but it sure looked good today, don't you think, Mosse?
No, yeah, unbelievable. I mean, I know he left on a little bit of a sour note there after making a hash of that breakaway, and Suarez got on him a little bit. But still, a great all-around performance, 2 goals, 16 and 18 this season, 27 and 34 since joining Liverpool. He's been just an incredible signing, and yeah, no, this is the new SAS. There's no question. It's the best strike pairing in England, and yeah, I mean, they are the driving force behind Liverpool, no question.
Now, David, it's so funny because at the time that Sturridge was signed, everyone was saying, oh, you know, that's a bad signing. Demba Ba is the guy. Remember that? And kind of made some blushes all the way around, I would say.
And, you know, I think I was one of those people, to be fair. I think it was a time where we were questioning a lot of Rodgers' transfer moves, and that was one of them. I mean, he was sort of rotting on the bench at Chelsea, and I thought there were better options out there for them to go get. But, no, I could not have been more wrong. He's been just an incredible signing. He's one of the best strikers in the Premier League right now. And, yeah, no, with him and Suarez, they're very difficult to stop when they get going like that.
David, what did Liverpool do so well today? To me, more than anything, they were very opportunistic. Yes, they were the more dominant side, but they took advantage of their chances. I really relish the opportunity to see Gerrard score at Anfield in a Merseyside derby. Who knows if we'll ever see that again. But what made them so good today?
Yeah, no, like you said, they took their chances very well early in the game, and I just love the way they move the ball so quickly. You know, they have strikers who are good with the ball at their feet, like Suarez and Sturridge, and then with a player like Coutinho, and Henderson has really impressed me.
Yeah, he has.
He's played. And when those guys are knocking it around, these clever little triangles they play near the opposition area, I mean, they can really break down a defense, and yeah, they did a great job of that today, and they were deadly on the counter once they got up, and Everton had to push forward a little bit. So, yeah, no, it was really very close to a perfect performance for Liverpool.
Yeah, you know, David, there is a formula, a blueprint out there for beating Liverpool. And there are teams that, like Chelsea, like Man City, that can do it very well.
What is it, Nick? What is the
formula? And that is that
formula?
you press a high line and that you basically gum up the midfield, stop their movement, and basically score and put them back on their heels and force them to have to come at you more. That's what City did. That's what Chelsea done with them. That's what Aston Villa did, by the way, very effectively. The key to that, though, is you can't let them get ahead, because if Liverpool get ahead on you, then that kind of changes the picture somewhat. I thought Everton were unlucky, and of course I was happy about it, but I thought they were unlucky initially. If they'd got a couple of early goals, one of those early goals in, it could have really, really changed the whole texture of that game. Having said that, I got a great tweet here from Centre Right, who tweets, I think today marks the beginning of Everton's fall back down to earth. And sadly, with the injuries, Mosse and Danny, I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, no, we'll wait and see for Lukaku now. They did complete that deal, loan deal for Lassina Traore, so they at least have a striker in the squad they can play. But no, he's a big drop-off from Lukaku. Yeah, and I'm worried, too, about him. They might resemble the team at the start of the season that had a lot of neat possession but really lacked a cutting edge before Lukaku got there. They scored 3 goals in their first 4 Premier League games this season before Lukaku came into the fold. So, yeah, if he's out a while, that's a massive blow for them. I think really hurts their top 4 chances.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. Let's change gears. Nick, are you done with the Merseyside Derby? Can I move on to other teams challenging for a top 4 spot in
Yeah,
United, or do you have any more moments you want to relish from this
No,
wonderful win?
it
You're
was
good?
it was a great win. As a Liverpool supporter, I was sitting there yelling and screaming at the television and pumping my fist. But I mean, it was. It did show somewhat the gap between the two. But if you look at
Yeah.
how many goals Liverpool have scored this season, they are only 6 goals behind Manchester City in terms of
Yeah.
how many goals they're putting in the net. People forget this fact. Their problem has been defensively. But when we look at the top of the table and Danny and David, Danny, I know you're talking about that, constantly about fourth spot and United and this, that, and the other. And listen, I think United are on the road to recovery. But you have to look at Liverpool in that they've scored 53 goals. They've only conceded 28. Man United have conceded 27 goals and they've scored only 36 goals. These numbers don't lie, guys. At the end of the year, that will tally up.
A 4-0 win, David, kind of feels to me like a 4-pointer in some ways. When you look back at, I always remember back to City's 6-1 win over United. I think Liverpool, with this goal differential now, have to feel confident that they'll possess that tiebreaker. When you look at Tottenham only being on the +3 side, they have to feel confident they'll possess that tiebreaker at the very least for 4th spot.
No, you're right. And to Nick's point, they're devastating at home, and they have Arsenal, Chelsea, and City all coming to Anfield the second half of the season. Now, I do think the title is a little bit beyond them at this point. I disagree with Rodgers.
It is.
But they're certainly well-placed to finish in the top 4, which would be, I think, more than good enough for this season.
But, David, if they finish in the top 4, what are the ramifications, particularly for Man United? Because, look, I mean, Tottenham haven't finished once in the top 4. Everton, the same thing. Liverpool finished regularly in the top 4 up to, about 2010. But, United have been constantly in the top 4 year in and year out. And what would a finish outside the top 4 mean to their long-term plans to rebuild?
Well, it certainly hurts their ability to attract players this summer. I mean, I already think that United, with Ferguson leaving, has lost some of its appeal to the top players. And certainly if they're not in the Champions League next season, I mean, they're talking about signing players off Bayern Munich like
Kroos and Royce.
And Mandzukic. And I mean, why would those players leave a team like Bayern to go play in the Europa League for Manchester United and leave Pep Guardiola to go play for David Moyes? So, certainly it would hurt them. But no, I mean, just to put a ribbon on Liverpool, though, I do think, Nick, missing out on Mohamed Salah was a big blow. That would have been a terrific signing, and it was a little bit Wenger-esque the way they sort of dilly-dallied there for a few days and kept trying to talk the price down a little bit. The amount that Chelsea ended up paying is not bad. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his. He's 21 years old. To me, he's a major talent who would have really fit in well with Liverpool, and I think they still need a signing or two like that to be able to compete with those top 3 teams. So that was the only negative of the past few days for missing out on him. While United did go out and obviously complete a major deal, which I think is going to help them tremendously the rest of the season. So that's the one thing I would be a little bit worried about if I was a Liverpool supporter.
But, David, I think in all reality, I don't think Liverpool is trying to compete right now, this season, right now with Chelsea, City, and Arsenal. I think they are really looking to tie up that 4th spot. And I think Salah would have been a great addition. We spoke a little bit about him yesterday, and I'm really excited to see him. And I certainly hope, he seems like a good kid, and I certainly hope that he's some of this pressure that he's been under from Egypt will relax a little bit now that he's in the Premier League, because I hear he's a wonderful, wonderful player, and I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, no, he's terrific. Now, he would have been battling with Sterling for playing time because he's one of those left-footed wingers that likes to play on the right wing and cutting into his left foot. And Sterling has played very well this season.
And was great today as well. Was fantastic today.
Yeah, he was.
But still, you can never have enough, top players, and Salah would have just added to what Liverpool already has.
Hey,
so I think he would have been a great signing. But
are you reading from the Jose Mourinho playbook?
In terms of depth?
No, you can never have enough top players, right? I mean, if they look good and someone else wants them, just get them.
Yeah, but Chelsea had a lot of players on the other way out. We got about 2 minutes before break here, David. What did you make of Man United's performance today? Everybody wants to talk about Juan Mata, his debut. I think he had a big hand in both goals. The flip side is that they beat the team at the bottom of the table only 2-0.
Yeah, Yeah, and actually Cardiff had more possession and
Wow.
created their share of chances. So
Wow.
no, there's still some issues there for sure. But no, I like this move for United. I think it's something they had to do. Now, others have mentioned this, and it's true. When Rooney, Van Persie, and Mata are all in the starting lineup, there are some tactical issues there to sort out. If they still want to play with wingers, they have to decide whether they're going to play Mata out wide or change their formation a little bit and play without wingers. Otherwise, it doesn't quite work. But no, there were similar questions about Mesut Ozil and whether he was really in need for
Right.
Arsenal. But I said then that was a move they had to make too. It's just such a morale boost for everybody to bring in a player like that, and you just add so much quality to your squad. He makes other players around them better. So no, I think they'll figure it out, and he'll play very well for United and definitely help them the rest of the season and beyond.
Well, you're not gonna say no to a player of the quality of a Juan Mata or of a Mesut Ozil just because you don't think they fit into the system that you have. Because generally, the system that they have at these clubs, particularly United, is sort of a bit of a slave of the players that they currently have in the roster. So it's a bit of the chicken and egg stuff. But I'm with you, David. A good player out there, you're gonna get him. He can only make your team better. All right, we're gonna go to break. When we come back, by the way, we're talking to David Mosse, the stat man himself from Fox Sports. When we come back, Danny and I will continue the discussion with David, and we will take a look at some of tomorrow's matches and continue the discussion about the aftermath of what happened today. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA, 800-878-PLAY if you'd like to sound off, or find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. Now's a good time to use the loo, by the way. All right, so welcome back, World Soccer Radio. Nick and Danny with you. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Oh, find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. And the tweets are coming in hot and heavy. Center right once again says, spot on with Lukaku comment. Lukaku and Howard are the reason Everton are where they are, and now one is injured. And he says he's an Everton fan. And what else we got, Danny? Any other comments? Yes, we've got D-Mac. Danny, do you see that one?
Yeah, Sturridge flew the mercy flag up 4-0 and spared Tim Howard by blowing that penalty kick. You know, that's kind of the interesting thing after today's match was the reaction from Danny Sturridge. He rather apologized in his post-match comments. He was really unhappy to be subbed off.
Yep.
I think once you miss a penalty kick for the hat trick, you really have no right to complain about being taken off. That was your chance to do it. Come on, David, back me up here.
All right, let's bring back our guest, David Mosse from Fox Sports. David, I like that about him, though. I like that about Sturridge. I like that competitive edge, not happy, doesn't want to come off, wants to stay out there, even though, of course, big match coming up over the weekend.
Yeah, but I also see Danny's point. I thought he started to act like a little bit of a clown there in the second half. And I'm glad Rodgers took him off when he didn't. Yeah, I mean, that penalty kick was the chance to get the hat trick. And then he had a breakaway later on that he made a complete hash of, didn't even get a shot off. So, to me, he has nothing to complain about. And the fact that he apologizes fine and you move on from it and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, right, absolutely. All right, well, let's continue the discussion because there were some other interesting results. We talked about Man United Cardiff, Norwich Newcastle and 0-0. And by the way, Edward Hart has just gone on to our Twitter and called Alan Pardew a jackass.
Well, he said it in relation to Bradley Johnson as well, and it was kind of the story. He was painting a picture around the show, jackass, basically. And it kind of fits today in Bradley Johnson's behavior. Really, just what a poor match in general that was. David, did you catch any of this one?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, these are depressing times at Newcastle because losing Kabay is just a devastating blow and a great signing for PSG, by the way. I'm sure we'll talk about Champions League next month when I come on, but really a massive boost for them there. But for Newcastle, I saw the stat today. They've won only 4 of their last 19 Premier League matches without Kabay. So it shows you how important he is. And he was having such a great season, 7 league goals from midfield, and a big reason why they were in the top half of the table. And I think now we'll see more of Ben Arfa on the field because they need that match-winning quality that they're going to lack without Kabay. But no, it's a devastating blow for Newcastle, and you already saw it today. I mean, they're not the same team without him.
All right, well, I tell you what, we're going to move on very quickly on some of these other ones. But before we do, David, I want to ask you to play this game with us that we played with Danny. Yeah, let's play a little word association football. So I'm going to give you a manager's name. You give me the first word that comes into your mind. You ready?
Yep.
Sam Allardyce. Too long.
Really?
Alan Pardew.
Obnoxious.
Okay. Arsene Wenger.
Purist.
You could have just said, because that's what I would say. Jose Mourinho.
Winner.
Let's say Brendan Rodgers.
Promising.
Okay.
Ooh,
all right.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's good. We'll continue to play this, by the way, and maybe we'll put it out on Twitter. If you can play a little word association football, we'll make that a regular part of the show. We'll have to ask all of our guests. So the therapist, the football doctor, that's myself. I can and Danny. We can diagnose you.
Gosh.
It's like Freud and Carl Jung, Danny and Nick. We are the Freud and Jung of football. All right. Wow. Southampton, Arsenal. I love Southampton. David Mosse, young English players, great team. Pochettino's really a terrific young manager. Lots to love at Southampton, and they did the business on Arsenal today. My question for you very quickly is this. You know, Arsene Wenger, if there's one word I wouldn't ever use for Arsene Wenger, is urgent. But don't you think he urgently needs a new striker?
Absolutely. And there is a quote from him out there today saying that he hopes that they have some news to report by Friday, which I know has gotten a lot of...
That's when the window closes, so I think... Yeah, everyone's
Right.
hoping that. Yeah.
I don't think Julian Draxler is happening yet. I think they're probably going to get him this summer. Yeah, I mean, the logical move would be to grab a striker, upgrade that Bentner spot. But now, I don't know if you guys seen the latest news that Ramsey, I guess, was re-injured in training and could be out 6
Yeah,
weeks.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
David, to me, this just seemed like a match that United of last year and City of the year before, that those title-winning teams, after going down 1-0 away, would have gone on to win 3-1, would have gone on to win 3-2. Arsenal didn't show the championship gusto that I want to see from a team that's going to win the title.
Yeah, those top three teams had been on such a roll, and you wondered which one was going to blink first, and of course it was Arsenal. And they have shown more resiliency than in years past, but I still wonder if they could keep up with Chelsea and City.
Right.
And, I know they've had other difficult stretches this season that they've come out of okay, but this one coming up with Liverpool twice, United, and Bayern Munich, especially with the injuries they have right now, I mean, this could be where things start to unravel a little bit, especially if they don't make any signings. I agree with Nick. I mean, to me now it's an absolute must. If he thinks that they can seriously win, major trophies this season, that for him to go out and do something here and upgrade the squad a little bit.
All right, David, very, very quickly, good win, I think, for Swansea. Takes some of the pressure off Michael Laudrup, although I think he's gone anyway. Great win for Crystal Palace, pulling them into some safe regions, possibly. But let's move on to tomorrow's matches, because we are running out of time, and we certainly want to look at Wednesday's big matches in the Premier League. Aston Villa, West Brom, probably, for my money, isn't one of those big matches. I do like the Villains at home for that one. But let's talk about Chelsea at home against West Ham, a London derby. I mean, I don't see any slip up here for Chelsea.
No, no Salah yet. Evidently, he hasn't even arrived in England. But Matic, I thought, played pretty well the other day. We'll see if he can keep his place in the lineup. Chelsea's rolling right now. 7 straight wins in all competitions. Only 2 goals conceded in that span. They're starting to look like a Mourinho team.
Wow.
And, I think they'll make it 8 in a row tomorrow.
Yeah.
Easily.
Sunderland Stoke. This is, where is this one? Oh, yeah, Sunderland are at home. Sunderland Stoke.
Yeah, interesting game. I mean, Sunderland, we'll see if they can carry over some of the success from the cup competitions into their league form. They've played better under Poyet, certainly. And, wouldn't surprise me if they get a victory here over Stoke.
Yeah. The next match, though, is probably the most interesting match of the day. Not that there are all that many matches tomorrow, but it is Tottenham at home against Man City. And this is a fascinating match, David and Danny, because as great as Man City are, they've, their away form has certainly improved remarkably. But, Tottenham seem to be going from strength to strength. This, for me, is a real acid test of Man City. What do you guys think?
David, you want to start this one out? I'd like your take first.
Sure. Tim Sherwood hasn't lost in the Premier League yet. 16 points out of a possible 18. Now, City has gone 19 in a row in all competitions without a defeat. So this is kind of the what's that saying? The irresistible force against the immovable
objects.
City, their next 5 weeks here are going to be fascinating. They play Chelsea twice, once in the league, once in the FA Cup. They have they go to Old Trafford to face United. They have both Barcelona matches in the Champions League and the League Cup final in there somewhere, which of course they should win. But still, I mean, this is a really fascinating stretch here that's going to really say a lot about their season. And they're chasing the quadruple. They've been pretty outspoken about the fact that they can accomplish that. When the stretch starts tomorrow with a very tough game at White Hart Lane for sure.
Yeah, but Nick, I look at the way these two teams have played against each other in recent years, going all the way back to that 4th place decider in late April between the two clubs, 3 years ago, the first time City got into the Champions League. I think City will absolutely run away with this one. I think Tottenham lack the strength in midfield defensively and also in their center back pairings to keep up with Man City. I don't care where the match is. You look at what happened last time out, 6-0 in favor of Man City. I think this is a decided 3-goal win for him.
Wow, I think that's a pretty bold prediction.
It is a bold prediction, but I have a lot of faith in City more than anything.
I like it, and I actually think, Danny, you might be onto something here, because the one thing I will say for Man City is, any discussion about their supposedly poor away form, I think, has been put to bed, because they don't have that anymore. It's like a cold. They got over it pretty quickly, though. And I just see them going from strength to strength. Even if they suffer a couple of key injuries, or they have 1 or 2 or 3 players that go cool, it doesn't matter. Their squad is so unbelievably deep. This team is just going to run away with it at this point. That's how I see it, David.
Yeah, no, I agree with Danny. I see them certainly winning tomorrow. You know, they beat Spurs 6-0 at home earlier in the season. So, yeah, it's a tough game, but I definitely favor City. And, yeah, they're clearly the strongest team right now, the team to beat.
All right, so if City win tomorrow, that'll take them to 53, top of the table. Chelsea win tomorrow, that'll take them to 52. Arsenal will drop into third. Liverpool will be in fourth place with, 46 points?
46.
46 points. Tottenham will be there with 43. Everton at 42. United have 40. Are we starting to see a gap now between the fourth spot and everybody else? Top 4 and the rest of the teams?
Yes. I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
I
still
would
would give United a huge chance at this. Maybe it's the pessimist in me and the fact that I despise United. David?
I would put the gap at 3, and then I think those 3 are on a class, Arsenal, City, and Chelsea in a class of their own, and then Liverpool is at the top of the second tier with Tottenham, Everton, United. Certainly the best team out of that group, but I think they're closer to that group, to be honest, Nick, than they are the top 3.
Well, even though they would only be, say, 4 points off of 4 or 5 points off of Chelsea, City, or Arsenal, depending on what the results are.
Yeah, but just in terms of their squad strength, I don't think they can. Like I said before, I think the title is a little bit beyond them still at this point.
No, I agree with that. But Danny, United are 6 points behind Liverpool right now.
I'm just saying that some of those results leave me quite shaky about Liverpool going back to that Aston Villa performance.
But it wasn't even a loss. It was a 1-1 draw.
They were really 2-2, wasn't it? They were really fortunate to get a draw. I'm just giving you my gut feeling at this point. I love Liverpool.
Last
I want to see them
10
make the
matches, Danny, Liverpool have drawn 1 and lost 2. The 2 matches that they've lost were City and Chelsea. They had one blip where there was a 2-2. I think that you're making maybe a little bit too much off of that. Not that I still think that Spurs, for my money, you have as good of a chance as Liverpool to get that 4th spot.
Sure. I can't accept defeat on this one. I just have that bad feeling in the pit of my stomach about United somehow getting into the Champions League.
All right, David.
Thanks a lot, man.
What, very quickly, David, what's your prediction?
In terms of how the season will shake out?
Yeah, who gets that 4th spot for you?
Oh, I would say Liverpool. And
yeah.
By the way, I'm still picking Chelsea to win the title, although I recognize City is the best team.
Nice. David Mosse, always an absolute pleasure to have you on. We will, of course, have you on next week. David Mosse from Fox Sports, the stat man himself.
The stat man Mosse.
Yeah, you can find him on Twitter at statmanmosse. David, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you're listening to World Soccer Radio. Nick and Danny, we're going to come back and wrap it up here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. In the meantime, 800-878-PLAY if you want to get a quick comment in, or find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. That's at World Soccer Radio. Or you can find us on Facebook as well, by the way. We are at facebook.com/World Soccer Radio. Once again, each and every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Sports Byline, we're with you. You make us a regular part of your week, and we're going to take a break and be right back with more on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network.
My joint
right. Well, with that music, it means we are, it's wrap-up time here on World Soccer Radio. So, Danny, all right, let's get the firm predictions here. We got 3 matches to talk about.
Sure.
Let's get the actual scores from you. What do you think? Villa, West Brom.
2-2. Open, fun game. It's the only Midlands derby we really have at this point. Hoping, maybe Nottingham Forest make their way into the league next year so that there's some more of these matches.
Right, big Birmingham derby, of course. Yes, 2-0 for me to the Villa. All right,
Okay.
Chelsea, West Ham.
3-0 Blues. Easy.
All right, I'm going to go 2-0. Sunderland, Stoke.
0-0.
Fair enough. Tottenham, Man City.
3-1 City.
3-1 City.
Easy win.
Yeah, I'm actually going to
They're
go.
have nothing but easy wins.
I'm gonna be a politician, especially today where we have Barack Obama's State of the Nation address.
State of the Union.
State of the Union. So I'm going to be a politician myself, and I'm going to agree with you, Danny. 3-1.
3-1.
3-1 to the City. Yeah,
We'll
and
take
the citizens look awfully good. No doubt
They're
about it,
really
awfully good. All right, folks, we'd love to hear from you. So you can find us on Twitter just about any time at World Soccer Radio or Facebook, facebook.com/World Soccer Radio. If you want to hear the show again and you want to, put our prognostications to reality sometime tomorrow, before our show tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, you can always find the replay on iHeartRadio, or even better, go to YouTube and find us at watchwsr.com. You can see the video stream of this show. All right, well, that is going to wrap it up for us. Once again, we will be back with you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We will break down all the matches that happened yesterday, and we'll look at the state of the table as we go forwards. Coming up next, folks, here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network is music, number 1, and number 2, the great Ron Barr, legend in broadcasting, coming up next here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. So for me, Nick Geber, and
Me, Danny Page.
there we go. We will speak to you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great night, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Cheers. Stay safe.
See you guys.
You guys have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, buddy. You too.